Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Tabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Charles Tabansi. My handle is CTABANZ. Also, if you want to follow the channel on Instagram, same name as the channel, Dreamers Pro. And if you want today's full show before it comes out, it is streaming for free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have that pinned in the comment section below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. Now, this is a topic I wanted to get to a bit earlier, but as you guys know, we have a different setup. I'm currently in the UK visiting some family for some months for the holidays. Let me put it that way. So I didn't have a chance to get to it. It was a video that came out maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I thought it was interesting then, but I was like, okay, maybe now that I'm here, now I can finally talk about it. So what happened? About 4 days ago, a show was published on Fox Sports Radio, The Odd Couple, one of my favorite shows. I really enjoy listening to Rob Parker and Chris Broussard show. This is just me. Some people, I love it. And they were talking about some comments that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, some comments that he made about modifying the All-Star game. As you guys know, it's no longer the team captains. Now it's back to East versus West, the conventional setup. I hope they go back to conventional, point guard, shooting guard. I think they've overcomplicated it. And I think because of this, it's cost a lot of players opportunities to make the All-Star team. Like if there's no positions, then you can have 4 guards, which means you're going to leave off some players and other players that were deserving of those spots. So to me, I hope they go back to the conventional lineup. This is just me. Some people disagree, whatever. But anyway, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was talking about ways to improve the viewing experience because you guys know the last All-Star game we saw was an absolute disgrace of an All-Star game. As a matter of fact, NBA coach Michael Malone called it the most disgraceful or the most terrible basketball game he had ever seen in his life. And we're talking about a professional game played at the professional level in the NBA. We're not just talking about some old league somewhere. In the NBA, and you have a championship head coach describing it as the worst basketball game he has ever seen in his life. That was a damning condemnation. So Adam Silver's in the NBA knew that they had to do something. So they were now also discussing the possibility of the NBA possibly having an all-star game where it's international players versus NBA American-born players. So as I was listening to Chris Broussard and Rob Parker kind of throw this idea back and forth, they were basically saying that they are afraid that if the NBA ever went to that format, that the NBA players would be embarrassed in that type of format. But before we even get into their comments, this video is brought to you by sponsor Factor Meals. If you're like me or anybody that works at Dreamers Pro, chances are you're a very, very busy person, especially during the lunchtime when you don't have time to go to the grocery store, pick out fresh ingredients, and come back home and cook healthy, delicious meals. Sometimes we're so busy that you just end up finding yourself making a ham sandwich or something like that, which isn't really ideal. And this is the reason why we are excited to be partnering with Factor Meals. Factor Meals is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. You can choose from up to 35 gourmet meals. Every meal is packed with premium ingredients, crafted by Factor Meals' team of culinary experts and designed by dietitians to ensure that every meal is packed with premium science-backed nutritional quality. Your meals are delivered directly to your door, and all you need to do is heat them up in just under 2 minutes. Then they are ready for you to eat and enjoy. So for example, this week, I think I'm gonna go with the Italian herb chicken. What I love is that under every single meal, you can see if it's a calorie conscious option. For example, this meal I just chose is the dietitian approved calorie smart meal, which is around 550 calories or less per serving, and also a protein plus meal with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. So if you want to give it a try, click the link in the description below or head over to factormeals.com/dreamers50 and use code dreamers50 to get 50% off. And remember, when you try Factor Meals by using the link in the description below, remember that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Chris Broussard and Rob Parker said and I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety, and then we're going to come back and really unpack this thing. Take a listen to what they had to say here.
Adam Silver, the commissioner for the NBA, said this: I know we're busy already planning for new excitement, thinking about what All-Star 2025 will be. People are out there talking about concepts like a Ryder Cup format, maybe U.S. players playing against global players. We're looking at all different approaches to All-Star. Stay tuned. Rob, I'm sure I've said it on our show a few times. I have long thought it would be great if the NBA did go to an international versus American All-Star game. You could work out the teams the normal way you do it, pick the normal All-Stars if you want, but then you pick a 12-man team from each, all international versus American or 15-man, whatever, and they play each other. But I'm not as high on that as I used to be because honestly, Rob, I think the international squad would crush the American squad. And I don't think the NBA wants its American players getting beat down like that, embarrassed like that. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not saying they wouldn't win here and there, but actually as time goes on, I think it would get even worse. We maybe would be able to win now with some of the older stars, the Stephs and guys like that, LeBron and KD, but it's only getting the gap. The better players are just keep coming from the world. Rob, the best young point guard in the league is probably Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from OKC. He's from Canada. If it's not, the best two guard, if you want to call him that, is clearly Luka Doncic. All right. Joel Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic are the best centers or big men. And then the best young prospect is Victor Wembanyama, who's from France. So I think, Rob, the international squad would play more of a team game. I think they would play harder, just take it more seriously. Because you see in these All-Star games, not so much Embiid, but Giannis goes out there like wanting to really play. And nobody else really wants to. So he looks like a fish out of water. Jokic never plays much in the All-Star games because that's not his game, but he'd be effective, obviously, in a game like this. Rob, Jamal Murray's also international. Like, this is my starting five for the internationals. Shai, Luka, Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic. You got guys like Jamal Murray, Sabonis, Porzingis, Lauri Markkanen, Franz Wagner, who's leading Orlando now, RJ Barrett coming off the bench. I mean, I don't think we want to see our American players getting embarrassed like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either, and I think that it should be more about just putting on a better product of the All-Star game. Can you guys play a little bit? Can you not just shoot threes and make it boring and people stop watching, Chris. Like it was the lowest because it was awful. Chris, you're an NBA guy.
You can't even watch it.
You couldn't even watch it. Like that's what's wrong with the All-Star game. It ain't. You can mix it up all you want. If the Cats don't play and they're just throwing up threes and they're not defending at all or whatever, Chris, it don't matter.
Don't you think? And I think this is part of the thing because I love the idea of international versus American. The reason I'm skittish about it now is because I think they would embarrass us. I really do. I think the international team would embarrass us. And, Rob, I think the international players would come out to play. I think Jokic would play his game. Giannis would really want to play. Like, I think they would come to play. The question is, with our stars? And I think part of the thinking might be like, rather than go out there and get embarrassed, the American players are going to have to buckle up and play their best, or they're going to get run off the floor. But, they might get run off the floor anyway, or they might feel like they might get beat. And so they go out there lollygagging, you know what I mean? Just throwing up stuff like we're not really trying. So that's my issue with it. Your issue seems to be you just don't like that format.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. It should just be all stars.
So you heard what they had to say, right? You heard what they had to say. Now, before I even get into my thoughts, let's just list some of the best players according to American-born players and then international players. On the state side, we have LeBron James, we have Kevin Durant, we have Anthony Davis, and if I miss some, you guys can leave them in the comments. We have Paul George, we have Kawhi Leonard, we have Damian Lillard, Curry. I'm not sure Kyrie is an American. I keep hearing he's not. I'm going to check that. Jaren Jackson Jr., John Morant, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, James Harden, Jason Tatum, DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, and De'Aaron Fox. For the international players, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, we have Nikola Jokic, we have Luka Doncic, we have Jamal Murray, we have Joel Embiid. I don't know what he's claiming these days. You have Bojan Bogdanovic, you have him. You have Kristaps Porzingis, you have Domantas Sabonis, you have Pascal Siakam, you have SGA, you have Rudy Gobert, you have Andrew Wiggins, you have Steven Adams, and you have RJ Barrett. Now I want to see, where was Kyrie Irving born? Let me just get this bit of information here, because I keep hearing he's not American. Where was Kyrie Irving? Kyrie Irving is an Australian? Are you freaking kidding me? Kyrie Irving was born in Australia. So Kyrie Irving cannot play for Team USA. I don't see how he would. Let me see. So we have Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie is going to go over to the international side. I was unaware of this. I was definitely unaware of that. Now, I don't know. Kyrie, I also hear he's from New Jersey, so I don't know. But anyway, based on where he's born, Kyrie is Australian. Boy, oh boy, I did not know that. But anyway, I did not know that. You know what's interesting? I got to be petty for a second. You know, there were a lot of people that have been kind of taking shots at me because although I was born in the States, I was born to West African parents. You know, what about Kyrie? Kyrie does a lot for communities. He does a lot for blacks, so Kyrie can't be an American? This stupidity must stop. Anyway, I continue on. So as I was saying, now we know the players that, you know, reside in the States and, you know, outside. To me, I think America has a deeper talent pool. Obviously, they have a deeper talent pool. Now, in an all-star game like this, it depends how many times is this happening. Is this something that's going to be happening into the future? Because if I think that's the case, the Americans don't stand a chance. I think if it's something that's going to be happening this year and next year, then the Americans could absolutely win. Why do I say that? Because they still have LeBron. They still have Kevin Durant. Some of these guys, they still have them on their team. Now, they're older. These guys are going to be going out the NBA soon. But nevertheless, they still have them, and they're going to be the ones leading the way. Now, going into the future, that's not the way things are trending. And to me, I don't really understand how this even came to be. America should be dominating basketball. That should be, I mean, America has basketball. They have American football, although it's only played in the States, but we'll say football. What other sport? Baseball. I believe baseball is only played in the States, but cricket is not baseball. I don't want to insult anybody, but they have baseball, basketball, and football. Those three sports should be dominated by, I'm not going to say sprinting, that's the Jamaicans. You have other sports as well. I mean, swimming, but you understand what I'm saying. Sports that a lot of people playing. So they should be dominating this game, especially the NBA. But for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, for a bunch of reasons, the Americans have fallen behind, and I'll tell you why. Number one, this is something that Kobe Bryant has been trying to sound the alarm on for numerous years. Kobe was talking about how the AAU system is actually doing a major disservice to the younger players coming through the system, that they're not learning, the fundamentals. As you guys know, Kobe Bryant was arguably the most fundamentally sound NBA player to ever play basketball. And he gives a lot of that to, you know, the clinics that he attended. Kobe grew up in Italy, right? So he was able to catch the Tex winners and all of these guys and go through those clinics where they worked on your game. You worked on dribbling with your right hand, dribbling with your left hand, how to, you know, enhance your footwork, et cetera, et cetera. So Kobe was a different type of player. We all know this, right? But Kobe stressed the importance of this system kind of going through a new revolution where we need to change because it's doing players a major disservice. And ironically, people are saying this is the most skilled era ever. So we got to figure it out. Is it the most skilled era ever, or is it not? I'm going to go with Kobe. You can go whoever the hell you want to go with. I'll go with Kobe because I'll take Kobe's word over anybody talking about the subject. You can go with JJ Redick. You can go with that guy. I'm going to go with Kobe. I'm going to trust his word above all of them because I think he's smarter than all of them, especially when it comes to basketball. That's just me. I'm going to roll with Kobe. That's the first thing. The second thing, and is the more alarming thing, and is the thing I don't understand. there's this kind of laissez-faire attitude by American-born players, and I'm saying this as an American, although some people want to pretend that they're immigration officers in the comment section and basically decide who's American and who's not, but then want to claim Joel Embiid to be on it. The hypocrisy is deafening. To me, listen, there's something that's happening, which is this laissez-faire approach to it. This I'm too cool for school thing, I think is a terrible thing. And it's something that is permeating throughout society, which I think is wrong. And I think the people that's going to have the greatest impact on is men. When you have a generation of men that have this laissez-faire, oh, well, it's all right, we don't really need to bust our behinds. It's cool. You're going to have some serious problems going into the future. Why do I say that? Because all young kids are going to learn by example. You want to teach your kids, don't just run around and tell them what to do. Show them what to do. If they see mommy is hardworking, if they see daddy is hardworking, chances are they're going to be able to pick up that work ethic just by watching their parents. Now, talking about working hard and not really doing it, that's a fruitless endeavor. So to me, when guys are having this laissez-faire attitude, I think is going to have a damaging impact on the next generations. We all know this for a fact, and it's not even up for discussion, that the generations that came before us are 100% much tougher than this generation. Anyone arguing against this point is a moron. No one will tell me that this generation of men are tougher than the generation that our fathers and our grandfathers came from. That would be laughable. That actually would be laughable. People were doing more with less than people are today. And what I'm beginning to understand is that Americans, we're talking about the Americans who predominantly watch the NBA, they don't care. You see, this is the part. The Americans themselves don't care. They don't care. All Americans care about is that they have a good product. There are a lot of Americans that love Giannis. Do you know why they like Giannis? Not because he's from another country. It's because Giannis works his butt off. They don't care as long as you're playing great basketball and you're putting a great product. They could care less. There are a lot of Americans that like Luka, and there are a lot of Americans that like LeBron and all of these guys. I think Americans like the hardworking players, and I think the Americans are getting fed up with the players that are not hardworking and are taking this entire thing for granted. I think the Americans have been frowning heavily on this concept of load management. I think they don't like it. I think a lot of the people that patronize this product are not millionaires. These are people that have to work for their money, and they don't like the idea of these players, some of them feeling entitled, like it's their birthright to be in the NBA. So they're saying to themselves, if that's the way you feel, let the best man who deserves that spot get it. It's no longer going to be bequeathed to you by the generation before you. If there's a player coming from another country and he's more deserving, he's more willing to put in the work, let him have that seat. You're not serious. So I don't think Americans feel this provincialism that other people are talking about. No, we got to care. They don't care. All they want is a good product. And we actually put up a poll a number of weeks ago, where we asked the audience the pertinent question, which is this. And I want to quickly go over that poll because a lot of you guys are going to be surprised about this. And a lot of people gave their feedback on it. And I want to quickly touch on what this poll had to say. This poll was about 2 weeks old. And I said, what do you think the primary reason the NBA viewership is dipping? We had number 1, player empowerment, number 2, player entitlement, number 3, politics, number 4, other things worth watching, number 5, other. Do you know of the 14,000 people, 46% of them voted for player entitlement? Now, what is player entitlement? Let's define it. What is player entitlement? What is player entitlement? Players entitlement is guys that are making tens of millions of dollars and still finding reasons to not go out there and work their hardest. Guys that are making all of this money and still not and having an NBA where load management had become commonplace. Hearing things like Shaq, Gilchrist, Alexander talk about when they were talking about how abysmal of an NBA All-Star game it was, and he was like, "Well, money talks." Really? You're making tens of millions of dollars. You talking about money talks? It seems to be like you're totally out of touch with reality, and I think the everyday American is sick of it. And they're going to support whoever is playing hard and taking the game seriously. Do you know why? Because the money that they use to patronize the product in buying TV subscriptions, going and spending their hard-earned money and they're working hard for that money too. So they want to feel like their dollars are being valued. And when you find yourself in a scenario in which these guys just can't be bothered, I can almost guarantee you that in the next 5 years, you saw the list of players that I listed out in terms of who's better depending on American. That list is, the American group is going to go smaller, and the international group is going to grow bigger. And to me, it's incredible because America has everything in the world. It has everything in the world. I am 100% convinced if you're born in the United States, from an economical standpoint, you have an advantage to every other person living in the world. Period. End of story. No one can argue this. No one can argue. It's the land of opportunity. It literally is. It literally is because you have everything in the States. You have good roads. You have running water. You have internet. You have security. You have lights. You have a lot of countries don't have that. So there's no reason, not to say that there aren't circumstances that can cause someone to fail, obviously, but that can happen all over the world. But you understand what I'm saying from a macro standpoint. You have everything in America. Everything. So to me, man, I think Americans are getting sick of it, and this is the reason why you see this. To hear Chris Broussard make such an admission, it's serious. These are my thoughts. Now, of course, people are going to feel a type of way. Listen, I'm just giving you guys my opinion. I'm not saying what I'm saying is the facts. It's just my viewpoint on the issue. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.